Hello everybody, this is Vinny. I am here with a predictions video. We're going to give star ratings, and by we I mean me, but you can play along. I'm going to give some star ratings to all 7 new cards from the mini expansion, the World of War Escalation for Cards. And it's interesting, alright? It's much more interesting than the last one, the Battle of Britain. So, let's not waste your time further. 60th Cavalry Regiment, 4K Soviet 3/6 with ambush. Players can only give 1 order each turn. Special. I like this card. I think the fact that it's special could even, maybe, the card might be so strong that it could finally bring back Soviet as an ally, because nobody really plays Soviet as ally, because why would you? Soviet's all about their elite cards, so not playing them as main is almost never the right move. This, though, could do something like lockout orders so that your aggro deck units live in the case of an Iron from the North type of deck. The effect is especially powerful against resistance, against commandos. This almost ends commandos' entire career. Really good against supply chain spam. Sometimes you can be really effective against ramp even. I mean, you know, anything. Lots of things. A whole bunch of things. So, I'm going to give it 4 stars. 60th Cavalry Regiment, 4 stars. The unit is going to be really, really good in low order count Soviet decks or just as an ally in other low order count decks. It's probably not too bad against... No, it's probably not that good against German control. Probably not that good, but yeah, I like it a lot. Then we have Southern Plan. I think Southern Plan is really good. How good? Let's think. 4K, gain extra credit slot, enemy loses a credit slot, special Japan. So it's very comparable to an Hour of Need, which is 4K for ramp 2. However, decreasing the enemy credit slot is most of the time better than ramping the 1 extra credit slot. The reason for that is your opponent is affected by that decrease right away, whereas if you increase yourself by 2 slots, you don't even see the benefit until next turn, whereas decreasing can see benefit immediately. Now, if you do draw this late game, it is worse than Hour of Need, but, you know, not necessarily, like against ramp decks if they're over 12, but we don't really see too many ramp decks right now. I think it's a 4-star. It could even maybe end up being a 5-star. I'll give it a 4-star. I think right now the only natural fit is in Resistance. Other than that, it doesn't really belong in existing archetypes. It's possible that this could be good enough to even be in Britain, Japan Air. Probably not, but because those games don't always last that long. But compared to Daylight Bombing, which is a pretty good card, I would much rather gain a credit slot than do 2 damage most of the time. So this is better than Daylight Bombing. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It could maybe justify things like Japan Ally with Soviet control again, this card, especially since Soviet has that other little ramp card in Workers Unite. So 4 stars. 5th Medical Battalion. This is the elite of the mini expansion. 0/5, 4K. Infantry, your other units have +1 attack and are fully repaired at the end of your turn. This one is a little difficult to evaluate. Right now, it definitely belongs in the frontline deck, which is very, very popular. And I think it's good in there, but I don't know if it's 5-star good. I don't know if it's 5-star good. So the +1 attack aura is Type 99, the little tank from Japan. And that card is amazing. That's a 5-star card pretty much. So this, of course, much more expensive than that, but 5 health and comes with a fully repaired. The fully repaired, when it matters, oh boy does it matter. But a lot of times it doesn't matter. But if your resistance opponent is peppering you down with Tora or Naval, then this matters a ton against people who are just spamming you with small AoEs. Then that matters a lot. It maybe there could be some sort of repair unit based deck with I have no idea what its name is because it's so bad. The 4K35 that copies itself when repaired or when fully healed. You know, maybe. Like I doubt it, but maybe you could do something like that. I think this is going to be a 4 stars for me. I think that US frontline, while it definitely benefits from this unit, I don't feel like every version might even end up running this. I don't know. It might be in 100% of them, maybe. The fact that it has a body period makes it a lot better than Cadet Nurse Corps, because then you can move it to the front line for Sherman. We can do it, etc., etc. So, but I'm gonna go with 4 stars because, like, when you go first, this card is really good, but when you go second, the card gets a lot worse, and it's something that you don't love having it bounced, so it's not really a good comeback card if you have to come back in other aggro matchups from going second. M4A2. This one is very interesting and very hard for me to rate. 6K, 2 op cost, 4/4 tank that when you deploy it, creates a copy. So, well, not a copy per se, but another 4/4. So, in case, I don't know, unless like if it got buffed from promotion, you're not getting 2 6/6s. That would be kind of cool, though, if it did. So, this card, some people said, okay, well, this is going to go in frontline. And I thought, well, I think probably not. It seems a little too big and too expensive and slow for frontline. But one of the biggest strengths of frontline is that all of their units are disposable, and you don't really lose tempo from most destruction effects or bounce effects. You don't really lose too much tempo. And this actually does fall into that category of not losing too much tempo, because you bounce this, now you have 3, because you still have the original 4/4. You play this new one, makes another one. So this is actually a card that is good against bounce. And, what if they tactical strike one of these? It's like, okay, we still have the other one, you know what I mean? So it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And in ramp, it's probably better in ramp than it is in frontline. I wish it was like a 7K card though, so it was something that could come after an hour of need, and maybe you could have some other random effect like healing or something that ramp would want. But this is difficult to rate. It's a lot like California in the sense that the original California before it got changed, because it's this really slow unit that costs 6, but it's got a lot of value in it. And it really helps against German control, because Leopold is not good. Like, it does just enough damage to kill a Leopold, and you'll have so many copies of this card when it gets bounced. So, ooh, it's 4 or 3. It's 4 or 3. I'm going to go ahead and say it's a, whatever. I'll just go 4. Match all the 4s, whatever. I'll just go 4. Machines of War. This is a build-around type of Soviet card. One where you have to change the way that your deck is made for this to get the most value. 5K order, 3 of. Add the top Soviet infantry unit in your deck to the support line. Now, there is no way to really control what is on the top of your deck, so I might as well say random Soviet infantry unit. So, well, I mean, there's like Catalina, I guess. That's about it. So, with this, you're really only hoping to get 272, the guy who creates the Joseph Stalin, or you're hoping to get the 6/7 guard that prints light infantry. But even that card, I mean, that card is bad, right? That card is really bad, especially now that it can't be Uraled into 272. So that's it. That's the only things you're happy to get with this card. Now, granted, hitting those things is powerful, but imagine hitting your 0/4 engineers with this, and it's like, wow, you paid 5K for that? to be fair, there are a lot of matchups where you need engineers or you just lose sometimes, like against Jagro, so maybe it's not that bad. But I think ultimately this card is really quite weak since it's so weak to bounce because you can pull out 272 early, but then boom, half track and frontline is just like the most prevalent deck in the whole game. And in a control versus control mirror, you don't love this card either because it's a tempo card, so you're paying 5K to get like an 8K unit, but you spent 2 cards out of your deck to do that. So now you have 1 less threat overall. So 2 stars, but it's not straight up bad. I mean, you can definitely get lucky or have the right matchup, and this could be okay. But 2 stars. 52K. Soviet new artillery, 3K, 2 op cost, 2/2 deployment, deal 4 to target enemy air unit, aka it's just Burning Skies on an artillery, which is a big deal. Burning Skies is already a okay card. Situational, kinda, but not really. I mean, almost every deck is playing at least an air unit, and some decks are playing a ton of air units, such as Brit Air, which is really, really popular. So, because of that, this card is going to give me a 4 stars, because it's just a better Burning Skies, and Burning Skies is already pretty good, so 4 stars for me. This is 2K more expensive, but just coming with a unit, that's fine. Like I'm happy with that. And artillery is like the best unit class there is, generally speaking. So a 2/2 of artillery, sure, I'll take it. I don't think you're playing it's a standard, but you're not going to be playing 4. And I don't even in Soviet artillery, you'd only play like 1. But you could play 2, maybe 1 or 2 in any Soviet deck, sure. And then we have the Sakura Regiment. Limited infantry for Japan, 1/3, 1K, 1 op. Has 2 attack if you have fewer cards in your hand than the enemy. Okay. Which, this is a Jagro type of card, so you're expecting to have fewer cards pretty much all the time. And unless, of course, you're going second in a Jagro mirror. So a 3/3, this is the thing, right? It's a somewhat situational. Now, you'll achieve it most of the time, but it's still a somewhat situational 3/3. And the thing with 1-cost units in cards is that if they have operation costs, they're not really 1-cost units. They're like 2-cost units, because just playing it doesn't achieve anything, unless it has guard, which it doesn't. So just playing it doesn't do anything. You have to also move it. And that's what makes it, a lot of these really weak 1-drops just unplayable. They need to have buffs behind them. But Jagro is not a deck that plays any buffs, generally speaking, because all your units are just supposed to be, suicidal and disposable. You don't want to lose a ton of resources to Flampanzer and Sudden Strike and Bounce or whatever. So it might only be a 3 stars. I think it's just a 3 stars for me because the 2/2 U.S. infantry guy, I mean, that's one of the worst cards in the game. That's an easy 1-star. Even if this was just a full-on 3/3, I don't think it's that strong or anything. Because it doesn't have Blitz, which is not what you want to see. You definitely want to see Blitz as Jagro. Especially if you're on the back foot and you draw this late and your support line is clogged with Feigned Retreat, or you need to suicide it into something with Signal Regiment or whatever. But what it does accomplish is it does fight for the front line against U.S. aggro and other Jagro decks, and just any sort of random super aggro deck. You can often go 2 for 1 with only a 1-drop because you might kill a 35T and a Chocolate Boy or whatever. So it will be good against those matchups, and those matchups are a lot of what you see, to be honest. So I'm almost considering putting this up to a 4-star card. I would consider it because Jagro is a really good deck for ladder, but it's not such a good deck for tournament right now because there is Italy decks, Brit Air, and Frontline in every lineup, and Resistance, which is also not so good for you. This card is fine. It's got more than 1 HP against Resistance, so it's good. It's good against all the matchups you don't want to see as Jagro. So take that as what you will. You know, do you want to play to your strengths, or do you want to try to even out your matchup spread? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you want to do there. Because what are you going to do? You're going to cut Bicycle? How many of these are you playing? Are you playing all three? I don't think you want to cut Bicycle. You have exactly enough 1-drops in Jagger already. Well, I guess you could cut... Well, here's the thing, right? You have the 1/1 tank, the TK or whatever. But that card is really good, man. Ever since they buffed the pin to only 1K, that card is really good. I don't think I want to cut those for 3 of these. I don't think so. Maybe. But... I'll stick with 3 stars. I'll stick with 3 stars. Because this is not what you want to see on turn 1. You still rather see the 15th Cavalry, and when you draw it later, it's just a really slow infantry in Jaggro. Sure, it's an overstated 1-cost infantry, but it's still just a 1-cost infantry, really slow in Jaggro, so drawing it late is really not what you want to see. Now, what I am hopeful for this card, it could actually get better in the future, because there are cards like Yamato that really synergize with super duper Japanese heavy decks, you know, where they're not playing so many units from the Allied nation. Maybe this could get better with, I don't know, like the Scouting Party and Yamato or something like that in the future when there's a whole mess of good Japanese options. But right now, 3 stars. Alright, thank you for watching, and please let me know if you agree, if you disagree. What card are you most excited for? Is there a specific deck that you're going to try? I think the first thing I would try would be this 60th Cavalry Regiment. I want to find out if we can create some sort of Soviet control deck that doesn't need so many... It might even be a Soviet. It might be U.S. Soviet or something like that. Yeah, maybe a U.S. Soviet. I don't know. Where we can lock out resistance and commandos and all that. So, thank you for watching, everybody. See ya in the next one.